Let's talk sci-fi and embark with me in a possible future horizon. A new economic system where the basic currency is the calorie. In the system, even your body has a fixed value since it can be burned and transformed into pure currency. How many calories do you consume? And I'm not only talking about food here, but how much energy is needed to bring electricity to your home and to maintain a healthcare system to take care of you and every other aspect of life that takes energy. How many calories does your work generate? What if we could measure accurately enough how many calories your effort creating societal well-being and preservation of the biomass and passing knowledge to future generations? What if the currency was not based on trade at all, not based on supply and demand, but based on what really adds value to a planet's ecological system, and all calculated via an equation? In such a system, entire industries like advertisement and stock brokerage, they wouldn't make any sense because they don't produce any extra calories to the system. They just redistribute values. On the other hand, things like taking care of the commons, the public infrastructure, and maybe even planting trees, those things can make you richer. No more money generating more money for no reason. The system is all based on making a planet's natural resources last longer. And those resources, they're not speculated, they can be measured. That's ecoeconomics, an economic system proposed by Stanley Robinson in Red Mars and explored in his later books. And this is exactly the kind of thing that draws me to science fiction. So today, let's play with some sci-fi world building and draw inspiration to build our own unique economics. Welcome to the World Building Tower, a series of videos in which I first introduce you to a wonderful piece of world building that exists out there. Then I transform this into an exercise that any world builder can try at home to hone their skills, to train their skills. And at the very end, I present my own version of this exercise just as an example of what you could create. If you are interested in practicing your world building skills, consider subscribing to this channel. There's plenty more videos. And at the end of today's video, there's a special invitation for all of you sci-fi world builders who want to make a difference in the future of humankind, who want to use your skills to make a positive impact. Seriously, it's an amazing project that I want to invite you to. Stick to the end of the video. Sci-fi carries this power to help us reimagine our reality. It helps giving novel concepts a language, and this language helps us imagine them as if they were not crazy. If you are a sci-fi fan, it's not hard for you to imagine faster than light traveling, and multi-purpose AI, and maybe even non-linear time. You gave those things names, and now you can picture them. You can even perhaps try to create them yourself. Traveling to the moon and robots were first imagined by sci-fi. Among many things that are now manifest, many inventions we consider sci-fi material right now, like Dyson spheres, there's someone out there trying to make it cheap enough to happen. That's powerful. This type of fiction can quite directly push innovation, new systems, humankind's next steps. And it does that just by providing professionals, industries, and cultures with language, with things that you can feasibly imagine. So when I first read the Mars Trilogy by Stanley Robinson, which is just so underrated, those books are the best sci-fi books I've ever read. I got fascinated by so many concepts there, including the one I introduced at the beginning of this video, ecoeconomics, a system based on the calorie and focus on ecological efficiency. Mwah. Poetry. Of course, this concept makes sense to me because I do live in an era that has Jeff Bezos as a thing and also is walking very steadily towards ecological catastrophe. I'm not sure if ecoeconomics would make much sense to people in the 18th century. That's another crucial part of the sci-fi genre. It's not only about novel ideas, it is also about establishing the context in which those ideas can exist. In Red Moss's case, the year is around 2060, so near future, and the Earth is so overpopulated and so ecologically ravaged that our Earth right now would look unblemished by comparison. So humanity is starting to colonize Mars, which is cold, harsh, empty, it's no atmosphere, it's a hellhole really. But there's no multinational companies yet. The point is, the first settlers, they know they can't apply many of the Earth's systems to Mars because the Earth is eating itself. So if they apply the same systems, it's very evident what's gonna end up happening. The terrain itself points to a way of thinking. The difficulties in creating atmospheric pressure, of releasing liquid water from ice, of producing enough soil for vegetation, those are the questions that guide Martian society, in opposition to profit, which is what guides the dying Terra. So those are their inspirations for a new economic system. The ecoeconomics I introduced at the beginning of the video. What a wonderful nugget of world building. And this is just one interesting concept among many in the books, but we must focus here so we can create an interesting exercise. Let's give it a shot. Today's unique economics exercise will be pretty hard, and that makes it advanced training. First thing we're gonna need is a scenario, a context, a world situation, a geopolitical, cultural, technological snapshot. What are the important pieces here to create a new economic system? Is it a new technology, or a new religion, or a change in resources, or a combination of many things? Which things? The challenge is to not overdo it. No need to get into the nitty-gritty details of everything. Let's just give it enough structure so that the system is believable, conceivable, interesting. Second, and here's the catch, I'm gonna ask you to create a brand new currency. Yes, I do think we could create a system without any currency or trade at all. But I do think that trade is cool. Trade creates tension, political pressure, the possibility of inequality, and how to design with, against, or around it. So let's keep currency, okay? Third, you need to define how people obtain and exchange that currency. What are the inherent rules? How do people manifest their trade power? Those are pretty abstract asks, but I do hope it's enough to bring your mind somewhere new, somewhere interesting, somewhere no human ever explored. As always, in the last part of this video, it is my take on this exercise, which is not better, not worse than anybody else's. It's just one example of what could be done with this system. So without further ado, yeah, I'm gonna try to be optimistic here. We could use some optimism, eh? The year is 2180. For over a century, humanity hasn't been focused on growth anymore because growth is dangerous. Growth almost wiped out the entire human race twice. Any exponential graphic these days is met with increased heart rate. Even when people discuss things like happiness and health, they frame it as a decrease in sadness and disease. Now humanity is caring and cautious. There's no other way to imagine it, unless you want to imagine everybody dead. So basically, the only form of betterment in this society is incremental efficiency. If you find a way to save energy and you give this knowledge away, society will repay you, because this energy, society could use this energy you taught them how to save. One of those efficiency mechanisms is a new form of organization. Nowadays we would call it a new form of government, though for them that's a little bit of antiquated language, like government, what is this, nation states? Are we in the medieval times already? It's an AI called Prona that can predict human behavior, both on a macro societal level and also in a micro personal level. This AI is what controls fluctuation of prices and also what assigns and distributes currency to the people. So in a way, you can imagine that here, work and wealth are detached. It's not as if you had to work 10 hours to get 10 currencies. It's Prona that chooses how much you're gonna get. And this is the spicy bit, because Prona has parameters. Prona wants to create a society of well-being and preservation, so we can nudge people to one direction or another. Is this community needing more food? Prona will give food workers more money to attract more people. Is this community overproducing food? Prona will give food workers less money, trying to move people to other crafts that are more lucrative. Are you being effective because you've been lazy and you're procrastinating? Prona will give you, particularly, less currency. Are you being effective because you're sick or because your mother died? Prona will take care of you. Prona will give you enough currency so that you don't have to over worry about work. And Prona will also point doctors and friends to your cause and pay them extra if they help you. It's not in society's interest that you self-destruct, that you become traumatized because you don't have help. A prediction AI makes it possible that you not get money for what you produce, but you'll get money for what you will produce, for your potential. And the mere existence of this system makes people already think more long term. With our current economic system, you can't many times reap the reward for long term planning, so people don't do it. You know, saving the environment is just not good business. But in this system, it is the norm. You will get paid today for the work that will benefit your grandchildren. So your attitude is very important. Not your pose, not the things you say, but the things you really intend to do. Because those are predictable. At least sufficiently predictable. Prona can't predict everything, and the idea was never that. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be better than any other system we got. It's just like self-driving cars. They don't need to drive flawlessly. They just need to drive better than humans. And guess what? That's easy. The currency here is called a future, just another tool to remind people of the next generations. And it operates very much like a nowadays online bank account. Your money is on cloud. You carry around a crystal so you can access your futures and buy stuff. The crystal is just a facilitator though, not the real money. So if somebody steals your crystal, it doesn't make any difference, because Prona knows who you are and how much money you got. So you just get another crystal and bam, all your money is there. Also, Prona will destroy any thief's economical chances, so crime is unlikely. Money itself is part of the police, and even more, part of the prevention police. Purchases are very much like contactless credit card transactions. You just put your crystal in the terminal when you clearly consent to the exchange, and bam, Prona does the transfer. The difference here is that the crystal lasts for tens of thousands of years, not credit card plastic. So a fully cloud-like currency that guarantees that what's yours is yours. A system of payment that's defined by your potential, your attitude towards the future of your community and your planet, and how much work and brains you can contribute to that. And the central AI that's coordinating the human endeavor towards happiness and preservation. I'm gonna call it generational economics. That's fitting. That's it for my exercise, and here's my really special invitation that I promised at the beginning of the video. I was hired by the SciFi Economics Lab for a project called the Worldbuilding Academy. We are building an open source world that all writers and artists are invited to join and help us create. And the idea is, our capitalist system is not working well, it's unsustainable, but it's very hard to imagine radically different solutions to it because we are immersed, right? But if we use science fiction, we might get there. We might be able to imagine completely different systems. And this is a group that's composed of a lot of economists and project managers and very little creatives. They need us. They need our imagination. So if you are interested in creating this language that will help people imagine and maybe build something different, something better, then join us. There will be a link in the description, a doobly-doo below. And we are in need of you and your imagination for a better world. And if you want to do this exercise I just proposed in the comment section below, it has been great on the past few episodes. A couple of people posted their exercises and other creators asked questions and pointed out details that they loved. It's been a great dialogue in the comment section. So if you're a world builder looking for other world builders, give it a shot. Post your imagination down below. And to my patron Malchior, who's been sponsoring this small channel since the beginning, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you folks enjoy the other videos. The playlist will be up here with other World Building Tower videos. And see you next time. Ciao, ciao.